Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It's great to see you all. This hour, I can promise you, is really entertaining, and it's going to fly by because we're going to talk about one of our very favourite subjects in a moment. But first of all, I'd like to just reintroduce the two stooges from last week. See, tech guy Glenn.
Hello. Hello.
He's just done his Matt Lucas impression of baked potato.
He's a baby.
Yeah, exactly. And welcome Carl back again from last week. You've not scared him off from last time. You're still there. So that's good. Yeah, he's still just about. Yeah, in fact, you've not left from last week, have you? You've still been sat there.
You're still there. Yeah, still in the chair.
Yeah, that's your good internet access in there. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And if you want to comment, please do so. We'll talk about it at the end of the session. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we're going to be talking about one of our favourite places to investigate, the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham. Now, people say it is the most haunted building in Nottinghamshire. Do we think so? Yeah, I do. I can see the nodding. So without further ado, we're going to start and talk about our experiences, personal experiences in that place. So I'm going to start off in the main entrance hall and in the courtroom area of the galleries. So I don't know, we'll go around from left to right. I'm going to start with Glenn first. Have you had any experiences, or just tell any brief experiences you've had in the courtroom or in the main entrance hall?
Well, in the main entrance hall, as you will all hear soon, we captured an EVP. So that's very interesting. You'll hear that later. In the courtroom, yes, a plethora really of lots of paranormal activity. We've captured pictures of apparitions on camera, just a standard phone camera. And again, we'll show you one of those, well, a couple of those later. Wow. We've also experienced EVPs in there, growling, sighs, again, taps. And we used electronic device called Appy Droid, which is an app you can get for your phone, which picks out different phrases and words spirit want to communicate with you. And so we used that, and we got quite a lengthy dialogue whilst we was in the courtroom. So yeah, there's always something happening in there.
The Appy Droid, is that a free app, or you have to pay for it, Glenn?
It's a free app, yeah. Yeah, so it's just called Appy Droid, and it works on the premise really of electromagnetic frequency. And spirit will use their influence to what they want to communicate. So they will put their vibrations into the ether. The app then picks it up as EMF, and it corresponds that frequency with, it finds the appropriate word in a bank of words in the software, and it links that frequency with a word that spirit are trying to convey to you. So it's a very, very clever piece of kit. Yeah. And yes, again, it's free. So if anyone wants to check that out, have a play. It's really good fun.
It sounds a little bit like a dictaphone, but you can actually hear words coming out rather than having to listen to it afterwards then.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen, as you want to use it. Not only does it say it, but it also displays the word on screen as well. So, there's no sort of mix-ups of what you heard, because sometimes it can sound a little bit distorted. And so it just gives you that thumbs up, every time it wants to communicate.
Yeah, that's good then. Interesting. Might talk about that on a future night then.
Yeah, of course.
That a bit more detail. Carl, are you had any experiences, mate?
Not as many as that, but in that particular area, footsteps shuffling, almost like things brushing against the wall, like there's a crowd there, somebody trying to get by, and occasional tapping as well. So it has actually been quite interesting. because that one was particularly, there was only a few of us there, so it wasn't a massive amount of people.
Yeah.
We kind of eliminated a lot of things. So that's one thing, a few things that I found interesting.
Good. So I think really, talking to both of you, the tapping, the knocking seems to be quite a repetitive thing in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because perhaps the judge was banging his gavel. I think that's been reported. I think I've not heard that personally, but I've heard people saying really loud bangs.
Yeah.
So,
in fact, I have heard that. The last time we was there, funnily enough,
okay,
we was upstairs in the in what could you describe it? The room where you have your sandwiches and your drinks. So
Yeah.
it's the top half, and of course, if
Yeah.
you leave the door open there, it goes on to the gallery in that courtroom. And so we left the door open, and there was nobody down there, and we heard really loud bangs and taps, and it did sound very similar to how a gavel would have sounded, you know. And we again, everyone was accountable at that time, so we know it was none of us in that room. And so, it was interesting. I wish I'd have recorded it, to be honest. It was really clear.
Yeah. I think, actually, now you mentioned that, you just sort of like dragged my mind back to one of the investigations we did. You mentioned recording it. And I think when we're in investigations now, I leave it recording until the very second I go out the door. And the reason I mention that is because we'd had a really interesting, fantastic night. And included in that night is probably an EVP I think you're going to play later on in the caves and the pits area. And it was fantastic. We'd had all sorts going on. And we said, thank you, Spirit. We're going now. And as we were coming up to about 5 of us, we all heard a man's voice in the court say, "Bye." And we just looked round and thought, hey?
Brilliant.
It was just like as if they were saying, "Oh, they're going finally."
It's very courteous. They could have used another select amount of words, couldn't they?
That's further down in the galleries.
Okay.
Yeah,
the less educated area.
yeah, but it basically bye, and we're like, please tell me somebody's recorded that. Not one of us had got the thing recording, so we turned it off. It was just like, because we just looked around at each other, and then we actually laughed about it, to be fair.
Because you all heard it then at the same time.
Yeah, all 5 of us heard it at the same time. We stopped and looked. Hey?
That brilliant piece of evidence when everybody hears it.
Yeah. Definitely. And there was one of the times where, not going into it too much, but it wasn't the best, wasn't the most active investigation we'd actually had. But strangely enough, it had led up to like quite a bit of anger and confrontation between us and another group that were in there at the time. So a lot of our group were actually, if you like, fired up. So there's got quite a lot of energy in that room in the court.
Okay.
And we got, so you might say that Spirit were using the energy that we got built up between us, because we had an incredible response from one particular spirit that was in the courtroom as well, whose name was actually Arthur. We did actually get that on dictaphone. And said, could you tell us your name? And it actually said Arthur. So it turned out he was lost. He was frightened to move on.
Okay.
We were getting, well, it wasn't just knocks, it was like rappings going off on the table, all around. And you could actually heard people sitting down at the back of the galleries on the benches, even though we were all at the front. You could actually hear it, and the only time we could recreate it was to really push the back benches. So it took a lot of force. But it was definitely coming from there. We'll identify that. So that was very interesting, especially when we moved it over. So I just think that was a really interesting experience there.
I think that's.
Did you ever? Sorry, after you, Carl.
Okay, I was just saying, I think that's really, really good, because obviously you said you was all fired up, so obviously you're all pretty annoyed. So chances are the spirit is feeding off the emotion of what they will be feeling at the time. So it is a genuine emotion that they're feeling. So that's why you're getting more activity.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't say potentially the fact that we were creating off that much energy, it could feed off of us. So
I was going to ask Glynn. I was going to ask him, what about the corridor? Have you experienced anything there, or the toilet area in the corridor? I'll let you tell the story.
Well,
you're welcome.
I'd rather not. I don't. Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, briefly, because that's another bit of a plug here, because this has actually been kept in on the DVD, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. On the very last investigation we did there, Carl, Matt and Glenn were looking at the equipment, like trying to work out what they were going to talk about. And another female member of the crew had gone to the toilet. I can't believe he's got me telling me this. I'll get him back for this. Anyway, I got a phone call. Just you wait, mate. I got a phone call from her. She says, "Come in to toilets now." What? Just stood knocking at the side of the door. Can you hear this? Yeah, the toilet. Yes, exactly, the toilet. I'm not in it. I cut the story short, mate. The toilet had actually flushed, but I also heard toilet roll being rolled off. To which it was taken really, really seriously by Glenn, who couldn't keep a straight face. Exactly.
It's not what you expect to hear, is it?
No. I've got to be fair to him on that section on the DVD. He tried to basically keep that piece together, but it didn't work. So yeah, well, we had a phantom on the toilet. So it's happened to me. So the next time we do an investigation there, which fingers crossed will be this year, don't with the toilets on your own, mate.
I'll hold it in. I'll wait till I get home.
Yeah, exactly. So moving swiftly on from the toilets, these guys lost it. I lost it.
It was just the water of telling me to not go on the toilet on my
own. Bring your dog for protection. Right, we'll quickly skip over that part, and we'll go from the courtroom down into the cells area. Now, I think everybody's had some experience down in the cells, either in the condemned cell or the overnight cell. So, would you want to start again, Glenn?
Yes, well, if memory serves me right, from the last time I was there, I believe it was when we was filming again the DVD. Mm-hmm. Collectively, we was all in was it the overnight cell? I believe it was.
Yeah.
And while we were all in there doing a bit of a silent vigil, there was nobody else down there at all. You know, we'd all been locked off.
Yeah.
In there, and we heard a woman's voice saying hello, coming from outside of the cell. Now, there was no way that anybody could have got in because it was all shut down and locked. And all of us in the team was in the same room, and we all heard it at the same time. And I believe from what you said to me, Glynn, that in the DVD, you've actually caught this on footage, on camera.
Yeah, we did.
and so it is on the DVD. But also in the cells, there is a lot of visual energy, a lot of spirits manifesting. And later on in tonight's show, I'll produce a picture where I caught a spirit just starting to manifest. There's a lot of negative emotions, as you would expect in the cell area as well. And having said that, though, there is a sense of calm. I know that sounds really strange, but in all the times I've been there, there is this calmness. And then slightly after the calmness, the activity starts. It's very subtle, very gentle to start with. But, I've sort of encountered spirit children down there, some of the female prisoners down there, and also some, as you would expect, some negative spirits down there that they try and scare you with growling and bringing forward some odors, really pungent body odors come out into the atmosphere. And it's almost, I mean, luckily enough, it's only subtle, but if you gave it another 10 minutes, you'd be almost sick with the smell that you can smell. It's something you can't describe. It's just not nice at all.
And that's just after your sandwich, isn't it?
Egg sandwich, yeah, of course, yeah.
Never mind the spirits. You think you're going to get me back here, mate? But, no, I do understand what you're saying, though, because there is. But also, you can tell there's times when the atmosphere changes down there.
Definitely. It's hard to describe. Like I say, the best way was it's calm, really peaceful. That peaceful, a pin drop, and then all of a sudden, that's when it starts. It's very active.
I mean, okay, brilliant, mate. Carl, anything else?
Courtroom, definitely. It's a weird feeling, something that I can't describe. Just can't put my finger on it, but definitely in the balcony at the top. I've definitely seen plenty of large shadows walking up and down that balcony. That's something that I haven't been able to actually take out of my mind. That's always been extra. Now, on the table in front of the actual judges area, I did actually lay down on there and felt almost like massive stomach pain and feeling sick. On the table. That was a weird feeling. Right.
I'll clarify something with you on that in a minute.
Yeah.
What about any experiences down in the cells?
Definitely. I've used K2 meters before and got lots and lots of activity, responding to questions, flicking right up to the red area, and then dropping down again. I've had literally, it sounds corny, but like the old style, like chains around the ankle, that type of chain dragging noise.
Okay.
And one of the cell doors slamming as well.
Brilliant.
So that was absolutely fantastic. One of the cell doors going. Literally ran down there. Obviously, nobody was there.
Yeah, that's brilliant, mate. But just clarify, going back to what you said in the courtroom, when you said you laid in front of the judge's chair and you felt actually sick.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you did feel? Because I want to tell you about something in a minute.
Only kind of like a sickness and almost like a stomach cramp.
Right. Okay.
Would you attribute that to negative energy as well, would you say? Like a lower based energy?
Who are you talking to? Me?
Yeah, to you, Carl, yeah.
To me, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just that when I laid on that table, I started feeling sick. I was getting stomach cramps. So I only kind of stayed on it for a couple of minutes. And then about a minute later, I was fine when I got off.
Oh.
Just a weird feeling that I can explain.
Yeah. Well, I do know. I don't know because I wasn't there personally, but I've heard it from 2 or 3 people actually that they used to actually bring bodies up into the court where people were on trial and lay them there as a deterrent for people to say, this is what you're going to get.
What, so corpses, would you say?
Yeah, corpses. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, that would be a deterrent.
It would
on that very table that's there now.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it'd be the very table, but it's going to be something similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd notice bloodstains on people. Yeah. Cleaners won't be very happy coming in anymore.
Yeah, a bit of Dettol on it, that'll shift it.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that is. I've heard that from about 2 or 3 people actually. That actually happened. So that's interesting that you picked up that feeling sick around your stomach area.
Yeah.
So
other people have had it as well. That's kind of an indicator for me as well.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. You should say that, haven't you? The reason, I mean, the cells have had an awful lot going off in there. In the condemned cell, we've had quite a lot of the K2 meter activity. Felt very, very uncomfortable in the condemned cell. There's one particular person who is mentioned quite a bit on this filming who just seemed to follow me around in that Galleries of Justice. I don't know why. I'm nothing like him, but he just seems to follow me around. And he doesn't want to move on for some reason. Well, I know the reason he doesn't want to move on. But
did you ever get a name for him, Glynn?
Oh yeah. But we've heard him a lot of times. With a lot of growls, a lot of that audibles in the cells area. In particular, in the overnight cell that you mentioned about that hello.
Yes.
But yeah. I've smelt urine smells in that cell.
Oh wow!
Now there was up to 8 people in that cell for 23 hours a day. Now,
wow! That's going to pong a bit, isn't it?
It would do, yeah, it would do. Probably not something where you want to be in there a long time. So I think that's obviously a residual smell in there when it came by, but also we heard scratching, and in that cell we were told to politely do one on the EVP. Yeah, that's that one where it told me to F off, Glenn.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So they love me, don't they? Really.
So they used that type of language back then in medieval times.
Yeah. But I mean, one thing I would say though is, not some medieval times, but it wasn't too long ago that people were still down there. Wasn't too long ago, so that kind of language would have been around. I can't tell you off the top of my head when it did show up, but I know it wasn't. Still you've been using 1900s. So
have you ever experienced objects moving down there, or like Carl's experience, some of the gates slamming, moving on their own?
Well, we've heard the gates opening and closing. We've caught that on dictaphone.
Yeah.
Again, we've heard chains rattling, or I couldn't distinguish whether it was chains or keys. And we did actually see the door, or Scott, who was there that night. Great, because he's a sceptical lad. He did actually see the door close right at the end of the corridor where the cells are. There's a door that leads into the exercise yard. It's a shortcut to exercise yard. Now, he did actually see that close, and he literally jumped off the floor and said, "Oh, goodness gracious me, that made me jump."
I think you've tidied that up a bit, haven't you?
I have actually, yeah.
Oh, crikey
It's
me.
going, yeah. Goodness me, that caught me by surprise. So yeah, he did say that.
Shut that door.
Exactly. They did do. Yeah, so I think we've had that sort of thing. We've seen a lot of shadows under the doorway when we've had the doors closed. And I think that's quite a sort of regular one I've found from listening to other people. The shadows a lot are down there in that cells, and say audibles. So we've done that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from now. We're going to go into the women's area. So I don't know if anybody, Glenn, you want to start on the women's area?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard it, but I've heard the stories of others of experience. There's like a bath in there, and others have experienced like it's like a scrubbing brush being thrown and being moved from its original location. Okay. I personally haven't experienced that, but I have heard taps and bangs and footsteps in there. But I would say one of the best experiences I've had in there was when we was in it's like a bedroom area with a fireplace and a hearth and a double bed. I think you was there, Glynn. And
go and remind me.
Yeah, we was picking up no end of things, and we was picking up about some of the previous inmates in there. And one in particular, we found out, well, Spirit was telling us that she gave birth, and the baby was taken off of her and dispatched in an unhumane way.
Yeah,
that's probably And so we was picking up, and we were seeing energy balls in there, and things trying to manifest, and we heard like subtle voices. Yeah, and I believe to this very day, Matt, who's the producer and director of the DVD, he was stiff to go in there, and he's still a bit not quite settled with that room, and so it is very active. And of course, it's all in pitch black as well when you're down there, so I suppose that can amplify the experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that one day, and in fact, actually, we've got a photograph caught on my phone. For Carl or anybody listening as well, I actually got a photograph. Just took flashing. It was just like a normal photograph, clicking around and everything like that. Zoomed in on the bed, and it actually looks like an apparition of like a little baby.
Wow.
And I'm basically saying that is actually, we do show that slide on video. I can't explain it. I might still have it on my phone, so if you want, I can try and send it on Messenger for you to have a look at if I've still got it on there.
Or if you've still got it, add it to this the comments on the live stream of tonight's broadcast, so everyone can see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, if I can't find it this week, I'll try and find it for next week and try and pop it up and go back and touch on it again. So anything for you, Carl, in the women's area?
I mean, to be honest, mainly it was footsteps. So from the wash area where I was stood in the 2 bedrooms that were just around the back of it, heard footsteps in the bedrooms. But then obviously when we went to the bedrooms, we was hearing footsteps around the washing area.
Yeah.
So it obviously, whether it was playing a game with us or what, it was never concrete in that room with us. It was either we was at the wash area and then the noises were coming from the bedrooms, or if it was in the bedrooms, it was coming from the wash area.
Yeah.
But
just chasing you around.
Yeah. There was nothing tangible really that I could pinpoint it on, apart from just like the noises or anything like that. Didn't hear any names or anything like that. So it's kind of really difficult to actually get anything from that.
Yeah. I mean, we've had quite a few interesting encounters in there. Yeah, Glenn mentioned one definitely that we had On a previous time, I'm not sure. I can't. I'm not going to pronounce it because I can't. I don't know. It's an old-fashioned piece of equipment outside that you used to wash with.
Okay.
It's like a bin, and it's like a brass hand, like a brass thing on the bottom of it, and a bit of wood. I think I used to wash the clothes in it. Anyway, we were in the bedroom, and we heard the banging on that. So we shot outside, and they thought that they'd seen the bin moving. I didn't, so I can't. I'm not going to say yay or nay.
Yeah.
He's got his word for it, but yeah, it's just that equipment was moving, as if someone was actually washing it. And then another quite interesting one. Well, it's more than quite. It's very interesting. Was during the day, either periodically or when you sit on that bed, it sets off that recording of that woman telling you about her experiences. I don't know if you can remember. Have you been there during the day?
I don't think I've been there during the day.
Yeah, or could you know, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Glenn, if you sit on the bed, it activates like a recording.
Okay. Yeah.
An actor's telling you about some of his experiences and what actually happened there, things like that. So we were doing an investigation one night where the bath was, and then we heard that. So we all went in. There was 5 or 6 of us went in, and this machine's talking away. I got somebody who was upstairs in the courtroom. I just asked, could you confirm there's no power on here? And they said, no, the power's turned off. It's just like, wow.
Oh, wow.
It needs power to actually activate it.
Yeah.
So even that, if it wasn't power and it was extra spirit, then that's a cracking bit of
Definitely.
footage.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I must have, before we go to the next bit of the caves, as we were going down to the caves on the first footage, the first time we investigated it, a little bit of a laugh. I nearly jumped 3 steps down in complete fear, because I was just shooting in the shooting down the steps, doing a bit of investigation on my own. Just pan the camera around, and there's a mannequin staring at me.
Yeah.
Just in the and I think we've still got that footage somewhere. Just pan around, there's a mannequin staring at me up this corridor, heading towards the caves, and it's probably the most girly scream I've ever let out in my life.
Was it followed by goodness gracious me?
It was actually, yeah. Yeah.
Just a hazard a guess. I thought it would be.
Yeah. Woo, that surprised me. Hello. Yeah. So I think I nearly missed 3 steps going down. Second time around, I was ready for it, but they moved it, so that just did me. I thought, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's a shock, isn't it, if you see something like that in the dark?
Yeah. That's the thing, is you go looking for spirits and ghosts, and then you see a mannequin, and you just keel over.
That's it.
Exactly. So now as we've gone down the steps, we've got the caves area now. I'm getting to the meat of the stuff here, aren't we? Has everybody had experiences in the caves?
Yes, funnily enough. In fact, it was at the bottom of them stairs, just as you go by, is it the oubliette, I believe it's called?
Yeah.
I was approached. There was a young child in spirit, a young boy, that came up to me, started talking to me. He was dressed in Victorian style clothing, a bit like Oliver Twist. Yeah. And he kept saying, follow me, mister, I'll show you. And I could feel this spirit child holding my hand and pulling my hand towards the caves. And so I've experienced that, which it was a lovely sensation, because it was such a nice lad, he wouldn't hurt a fly. And I just felt honoured that he should come and talk to me, in there, we've experienced what is it like? Growling, deep breaths. We've heard a female voice calling from the corridor outside the main cave room. There's just, I think the actual cave room itself, it desensitizes you anyway, because obviously it's pitch black, it's very dark, it's very damp in there. So, I mean, you have to try and eliminate these things when you're investigating, so that you can actually get to the meat of what's going on. So, anyone that does investigate that, just bear that in mind before you start saying, oh, it's this and it's that paranormal. You've got to explore every sort of avenue. But there's a lot of activity down there, definitely.
Yeah. Have either of you two heard the? I think I know you are because you were down there with Glynn. Heard like walking, sounds of walking down in the caves above us. Because can you remember when we were down there, Glenn? It sounded as if someone was walking above it. Yeah. It was just like, no, it's thick rock.
Can't penetrate that, can you? Yeah.
No. I don't know if you'd experienced that, Carl.
The only thing I've really experienced actually just by the oubliette is actually just like moaning and heavy breathing.
Right.
But not really, really loud moaning. You could just kind of hear it in the distance. Yeah. But that's really all I've heard around there. I mean, obviously, it is an oppressing atmosphere because of where it is anyway, But just like the moaning in the distance and the heavy breathing.
Yeah. That's interesting. On a personal point of view, I think I'm going to save that last bit for a laugh for you, Glenn, later on, from that previous investigation. Once when we were near the oubliette, and you can actually, I've still got this. I think I've got it on file, which I'll try and find again. I did see a full apparition staring at us. We were sat in the caves, and there's like a full apparition of a guy staring at us from the steps and in down from the women's wash area. It was so clear. I thought it was the security guy. Because on the dictaphone, you can clearly hear me say, "What does he want?" I'll come up in a minute, mate. You can hear me say that. You can see me say, "I'll come up in a minute, mate." Gets up, and he's not there. And there is no way physically that anybody could have got up there. Usain Bolt, he went around at the time. Top sprinter couldn't have got up them steps and quietly. If he were messing around, you'd have heard him.
Yeah,
did you see?
Are they?
Go on, Carl. After you.
Yeah, sorry, they're not the easiest steps to get up anyway, are they?
No, they're not. No. So go on.
Yeah,
Glenn.
I was going to say, could you decipher what sort of style of clothing he was wearing, or was it just like a silhouette, sort of dark?
It was a head. It was his head.
Oh, you just saw his head.
Yeah, it was like head and shoulders. So I thought it was the security guard messing around because it was like early 1900s clothes.
Right.
It got sideburns. I'm getting chuckle, wasn't it?
Do you have a sideboard?
Yeah.
Mahogany.
yeah, they were. You got sideburns, quite thick set hair, but the guy upstairs had got thick set hair. The security guy. So I just thought it was him. He thought he was trotting about. So that's when I just said, well, "What do you want?" And I just walked towards him, and then he wasn't there. He was upstairs. He was on his computer. But inside the caves itself, one thing or two things really. I've heard a dog growling in there. Apparently that has been reported. Yeah, quite interesting. So it was in the entrance to it. But also the one thing I was going to mention was in a previous investigation, we're asking questions, doing the regular. Are you there? Anybody that would like to sort of like talk to us? can you make a noise? Anyway, on the dictaphone, and Glenn's heard it, haven't you? There's a woman answers me.
Oh,
and I
fantastic piece of evidence, yeah.
And I answer her. And the people, including Glenn, are looking at me gone out and saying, who are you talking to? A woman, someone's answered me. Nobody's answered you. And I played it back on dictaphone, and there's a woman answering me back.
Wow.
That was spectacular, yeah.
I'm going to try and find that and perhaps even put that on next week.
I think you need to, definitely.
I mean, it's a sensational piece of evidence. Because I even answer her. That's the thing. It's clear as anything. So,
absolutely brilliant.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? So before I'm going to hand over to Glenn again in a minute, but before that, we'll go around. Say the exercise yard. We've done that. I know with people are buried in the exercise yard. While he's having a drink, I'm going to give Glenn some incredible credit here. We're in a place called Narramarsh, which isn't very often open. You have to request it. It's like just a loop round, and we're doing some calling out. And Glenn did a fantastic piece of spirit art of a boy, must be about 12, 13 years old. Can you remember this, Glenn?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, it said he'd been done time for being a thief. I'll never forget it. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of communication going with him. And anyway, we left Narramarsh into the exercise yard, and we're just looking at the boards at the side where the wall is. There's some information boards on different people and everything like that. Now, there's been some recent ones put up, and a photograph looking exactly like Glenn's drawing had just been put up that week with a name on it, Glenn.
That's right. Yeah, we was all in shock, weren't we? I mean, as you know, as I mentioned before, I've no idea what's going to come out when I do spirit art, so it was a shock to me.
Yeah, and it was the same picture. Yeah,
it was spooky.
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. So yeah, full credits here.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I've forgiven you for earlier on. So the last bit, mate, we're going to go. I think we're going to go down into the pits and the dark cells. Okay. I'm getting chills thinking about it now. For everything I've experienced in that particular place. So again, we'll go left to right. So Glenn, do you want to mention anything, mate?
Yeah, I think probably the best experience I've had down there is when we was filming the DVD, and we was just doing some pieces to camera, and then we went into one of the dark cells. You came into the cell as well, and we sat down there on the bench, and we just had a few moments just sitting in the silence. Well, in that silence, we wasn't alone, because in one of I think it was my left ear, I heard someone like growl in a breathy growl, and obviously there was nobody physically behind me. There wasn't the room anyway for anybody physically to fit. No,
you were sat in the corner, weren't you?
Yeah, right at the back there, and you was at the front there near the doorway, and so I think you did you say that we've actually captured that on some of the footage? The DVD.
Yeah, I'm not going to reveal everything that we've done on this DVD, mate. But
no, but evidential wise, it's worth seeing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we've caught it.
Excellent. Other than that, I would say again, it's like an uneasy feeling you get down there. But again, you've got to be mindful of the surroundings. It is dark, it is damp, so you have to eliminate that out of the game before you even allowed to tune in. But also I've experienced the foul odors down there, like body odor and urine as well. You can smell that in that area. But other than that, that's the main two sort of things I've had down there.
Yeah. Oh, great. Carl?
Definitely the urine ammonia smell. That is definite. And to be honest, large black mass shadows just out the corner of your eye, but big, like 6.5 footers shadows.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's quite frightening then.
all in a day's work, isn't it?
It is, mate, yeah. Yeah. All ghost hunters watching this will know.
They're all tipping their flat hats to you right now as we speak.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And everybody knows it's all worth it sitting and getting freezing cold for about 2 minutes worth of activity.
And getting Johnny Riles in the process.
Exactly. What did he come through at last investigation?
He always comes through. Anywhere where it's damp, he's there.
Right. You got a connection with him.
Yeah.
Right. Oh God, what's this thing coming to? It's, I mean, I've experienced a lot of things again down there. Two things that in particular that really stand out for me. Actually, interesting you mentioned about where you were sat, because I actually forgot about that bit. Where you were sat in the corner. Now, you've known cold, because you've been down there. There is no electricity whatsoever.
No.
Now, I got me K2. I got me EMF beats at that time, not the K2. They actually stuck it in the corner where you heard that breath.
Yeah.
On a previous investigation, and it went off the scale. It went up to 8.
Wow.
It was just literally screaming. I don't know, because there was nothing there. There's no electricity there whatsoever.
The stonework, the masonry is really dense as well in there. So
yeah.
There's no wiring or anything.
No. It just, yes, I mean, there's any tech guys out there, it went up to about 8. It was just ridiculous. Thinking, what is going on? And then, for strange enough to top it off, it then just stopped as soon as it started.
Wow.
So I was really impressed by that. But another 2 things that really stuck out was during one particular investigation, I had somebody else go out from the cell, the top where the chains are, where they hang all the chains out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting that one of the doors at the top there are original doors. So whether you get any residual energy off them doors, I don't know. However, when we were sat, it was as if they were playing a game with us. We were in the bottom cell, and just as we were sitting there asking questions, we heard do 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 do, and we actually deduced what it was, and it was the people. It was like the running up and down on the drain cover in the corner there. There is actually a drain cover.
Okay.
We actually worked out with the noise what it was. It was like stamping on there. So one of the lads went up there, stood there, and he still heard it when we were starting questions.
Wow, that's good. Did you record that at all?
Yeah.
Did you capture that?
Yeah, we did. I'm sure we did.
Brilliant.
But he's got it. He must have it on his dictaphone. I wasn't recording that session at that time, but he was. But also, and I think you're going to play this in a minute. Actually, one of the great EVPs was when there was 4 women in his cell and me. It sounds a bit strange, doesn't it?
Sounds like a party.
It does, right? It was.
It's not quite an S Club party, though, is it?
No, it's not. No. Anyway, basically, the premise behind this EVP was it's definitely a male groan. I heard the groan and I know exactly who it is. Now, there were 4 women in that cell, so it's definitely not either of them. And it's a freaky groan. I didn't hear it at the time, but I listened to it. A little bit of footage when I was reviewing the investigation, and I nearly spat my tea out when I heard it. It's just such a clear, fantastic EVP. So I would say thanks three certainly for helping me with your experiences. I'm pleased everybody's had a great experience, and I think you'd all agree that it probably is the most haunted building in Nottinghamshire. Yeah.
Yeah, it never fails. It always delivers, don't it? Every time we've been there.
Yeah. So I know we've got a little bit on time now, mate. But so now I know to Glynn. So you're going to show us some evidence, are you, mate?
Okay. Well, we may span over time slightly, so I'm sure it doesn't matter too much. But yes, what I'll do is I'll just talk you through some of this footage. Let me just. You'll have to excuse me. It's a new way of working for me using this sort of tech. So I need to move that out of the way. So yeah, straight away, as you can see here, this is a post I put up on my Mediumship page. And it was a picture I took on my mobile camera just in the exercise yard. And what I'll do is I'll go independently on each picture. So what I did is I just took this photo.
Yeah.
And with every photo that I take on an investigation, I'll zoom into every inch of that photo and analyze it, and discount things and things like that. And so I was intrigued by this photo. There was something about it. So again, I zoomed in and I think I brightened the colors up slightly just to enhance what I was seeing. So we'll go on to the actual thing I spotted. Gone back again. Excuse me. There we go. And so I'm going to try and enlarge that. So yes, just here, if you follow where I'm pointing the cursor, you can see shoulders and you can see a head there in the mist in the courtyard. So as I'm going around the head there's the shoulders. And I would say it's easily to spot if you squint your eyes slightly. It looks like a sepia, an old-fashioned photo, and there's a person stood there smiling, and it almost looks like he's got a mustache just there. And just there, and like curtains hairstyle there.
Yeah.
And so that was. So what do you guys think to that one then?
Carl?
I mean, definitely something there. Be interesting as well if there was any other angled shots from any other cameras. But I really, really like that piece of evidence as well, because it's not what I would say is like pareidolia, where your eyes are making out the actual image. We can actually physically see that.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting image, because I know Glynn does it, I do it, and you do it, Carl. Just to eliminate natural sources, taking a photograph, hold your breath. So it's not your breath coming out. Yeah, so it's not a breath that's coming out. So that discounts that. I know Glynn doesn't smoke, so there's no smoke there. So it's quite interesting. That's quite an interesting capture, that is. I mean, it could be. I know certainly around that area where there are people buried on the yard.
Okay.
The next time we do visit, which hopefully is going to be later on this year, perhaps if we could try and remember it and remember that photograph, you never know, there might be a photograph of somebody there.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to remove that, and I'm just going to find the next one. Again, you'll have to excuse my slowness with this. It's the first time I've actually done this. Here we go. So I've just got to add it. Talk amongst yourself while I'm rambling.
No. blah, 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 blah.
Okay. And the next, I've got it. I think I've got it up. Can you see that?
That was a short talk, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so this is inside the actual courtroom, the main courtroom.
Yeah. See where you've taken that.
Yeah. And so that was the original photo, the one here. So I think I've done them individually. So there's the original shot. And like I say, every investigation, I zoom in to every inch of that picture. Yeah. And upon doing so, this is very, very interesting what we found. And so at the side of the courtroom chair there, If you follow the cursor, there is actually a man standing there.
Oh,
here's the back of his hair, his wig.
Yeah.
His face is here. Look, you can see his nose there. I'm going around the outside of it's a side profile shot, and down his body. But this is what makes it slightly sinister. Now, apologies for anyone that finds this offensive, but all we can do is just report what we found. And if you go down here, that looks like the gentleman's genitalia. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that looks like what could be, it looks almost like the pelvic bone, to be honest, there.
Yeah.
And so, so I zoomed into that and just brightened it up slightly. And now I'll go around the outline again, and you can, in fact, you can see the features a bit more detailed here. So it's a side profile shot.
Yeah.
There's the nose.
Yeah. The mouth.
There's the eye sockets. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see the white hair there, look, the wig.
Yeah.
And again, you can see some sort of robes. But still, you can see the genitalia area there.
Yep.
And bless him, he won't be shy going in the showers, will he?
I was going to say, he's not going to wish it over, is he?
No. So, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this one, this capture?
Yeah, it's a bit of a porn shot there, mate. No, actually, it's a good shot, a side shot, actually, as if they're actually leaving the chair.
Yeah.
That they've done, they finished the courting session. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with that one. You can make it out.
Yeah, I'd like to know if there was actually anybody that got done for any type of crime or anything like that. That obviously involved being naked, whether it was like streaking.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like that.
Well, I think over the years there might have been something.
Yeah, got to be something to obviously attribute the fact that we've got a nudity shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all the time I've been doing this, I've never seen anything like that. You know, a picture of that.
Either that or it was warm in the courtroom.
Right. Talk amongst yourself, gentlemen. I'm going to go on to the next slide.
Okay.
So I'm just going to...
So, yeah. Are you up for investigation then, Carl? If we can
100%
talk to that, mate. Right.
Definitely.
That's great. Great. So hopefully it's going to come this year.
Yeah.
Oh, are we off?
Hold on. It's not letting me share it as yet.
All right.
Let me just...
Turn the lights down in your ass, Carl, for effect.
No, I think it's just very, very dark. Oh, that's my
Right.
wonderful lights on for me.
Right, so this one, let's see if it'll play.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favourite set of pictures. And I will just get it up on screen. Okay. Yes, here we are. Right, can you see that, guys?
Not yet.
So this is in...
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Got it? So this is the cells area that we're speaking of.
Yeah.
I'll go into the individual photos.
I think I can see that straight away.
Yeah. So again, what I do is I mentioned I zoom into every inch of the photo. And on this case, I did that. And then my findings, I just highlighted it. So I just changed the brightness on the photo. Not on this original photo, but on the next photo.
No.
So I zoomed into this area here where you can see the cursor.
Yeah.
And this is what the findings were. So we can actually see there a set of legs walking into one of the cells. Here's one of the boots. There they look like some sort of trousers and like a cape or something trailing behind. And then it ends there, but you can clearly see a set of legs
actually towards
moving.
the condemned cell.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. just through that second gate. That's where the condemned cell is.
Right. Well, that could make sense why the energy was particularly strong enough to be captured that way. You know, all the emotions going into that cell.
Yeah.
That would explain, because that cell door, what you've got on that photo, is the one that I had that slammed.
Oh,
is it?
Wow. It's interesting.
Brilliant.
So what do you guys think of these photos?
I can definitely... I couldn't see the cape as such, but I can definitely see the legs.
I can see the cape slightly, but definitely I can see the legs, and that is a really, really nice photo. Actually, really nice.
Yeah. Really, yeah, and that would be manifesting itself. I think as in memory.
That's right. It's trying to build up there, isn't it? And it just stops there at the waist level.
To be fair, that could be the legs that we keep hearing walking along them corridors.
Ah.
Let's throw one out there.
Yeah, that would make sense. And so that's all the photographs that I've got for this evening. But I have got some EVPs. Okay. So everybody that's listening as well out there, you may have to adjust your volume and just turn your volume up to hear these. So let's go for the main courtroom. Okay, so what I'll do is I will play the original audio, and then afterwards I will play the isolated, enhanced paranormal activity that was captured. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is in the main courtroom.
That was me moving the them two cracks there. It was across. Yeah.
Glynn,
yeah?
I need a pen that works.
Pen not work?
No.
Right.
What?
Okay, and this is the isolated incident, and what it was a whistle, an EVP of a whistle. So here we go.
Yeah.
I'll play it again.
Yeah,
again.
I can hear that.
Yeah. Okay. What are your gentlemen's thoughts about that then?
My thoughts, I can remember it because I was there. Now you played that, I forgot about it. But yeah, initially when you played it fully, I didn't quite pick it up. But once you played it, you could quite clearly, and isolated it, you could quite clearly hear a whistle. That's my personal thoughts.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely a whistle. Quite a high-pitched whistle as well. So it's difficult really to work out who it could be from, but definitely a clear whistle with that. So good piece of evidence there.
Because it does seem to be quite close to the dictaphone. It seems to be over the top of us.
That's true, yeah. It just cut through, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so the next bit of footage is, there we go. Yeah, it's actually from the courtroom again. So I'll play this. There we go. There we are.
You there, Rob? No, he's not.
Okay, so again, we'll play it in isolation. So what you've actually captured there is a female breath in the background. So I'll play it in isolation again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on, misbehaving. Here we go. Can you hear that? It's very, very slight.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, very faint, isn't it?
Would you like to hear it again in context with the rest of the footage, just to A and B it?
Okay, go on.
So I'll play the original footage.
You there, Rob? No, he's not.
There you go. It was right at the end of
when
you said no, there's not, and then you heard it.
Yeah, I mean, it is there. It's probably not as clear as the whistle to me.
Yeah, very
but
subtle.
yeah, but there was something there. I think probably I'd say it's great that you're doing this, but I think possibly because you're doing it from that little bit, and it's not sort of like coming straight from a dictaphone. I think that might be distorting it a little bit.
Okay.
But you can definitely tell that there was something there next to us. After that, you can definitely hear something. Cool.
Yeah, 100% agree with Glynn. You can definitely hear something there. Be very interesting as well, actually, if anybody else got it on any of their audio equipment as well. I know hindsight is brilliant, but obviously, it'd be interesting to know that would be. But definitely, you can certainly hear something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the next piece. And again, this is in the main courtroom, and it's an EVP captured. I'll play the footage to start with, the original footage.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
What,
I felt it downstairs and all in the caves.
Right.
And I thought it in my head.
Now, that's quite sinister, so I'm going to play that in isolation.
It is, because I remember doing it.
Where are we? It's
Right.
again, it's very quick.
Right.
Play it one more time.
Right.
There's like a sigh in there at the end, if you could hear that.
Yeah, because it says, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, it's quite a dark sound, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. Do you want the backstory to that, Carl?
Yeah, please, yeah.
It's when we were doing an investigation. We were actually in the, as Glenn mentioned, we were in the courtroom. Now, the person who just said that as well felt a touch on the head when we were down in the caves earlier. We had a little bit of investigation, mini investigation at the start of that. She felt a touch on her head there in the caves. And that's when she says, I felt that as if somebody touched me earlier. And just as she's saying that, that's when that voice came over the top of us.
Wow. Wow, that makes it really sinister, that does.
Yeah, that's the backstory to that EVP there. As if whoever's there is saying, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, quite sleazy.
Yeah. It could be that person from the judge sentenced.
Yeah. The hanging judge, don't you mean?
Yes, the hanging judge.
Oh dear. Right. So yes. So I'll move on to the next one. This is captured in the dark cells. So there we are. I'll play the full footage. Here we go.
It's cabbagey. Cabbage. Yeah. What do you think to that?
Exactly. What do we think to that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll go to the isolated part and the cleaned up version. And again. Oops. Hold on a minute.
Oh, that's a nice heavy breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could hear that. What are your thoughts to that then?
Carl, I mean, I was there when that happened.
Yeah.
I've heard that voice. I've heard that voice many times, and I know exactly who it is. I've got a name for it.
Did you hear that at the same time as recording, or was it only when you reviewed the after?
No, we didn't hear it at the time of recording. It's when we were reviewing the footage.
Yeah, because that was really close to the microphone.
It was that was in the cell with 4 other female investigators.
Right.
So it's definitely not them.
No.
That was right next to the. And strangely enough, that was right where Glenn was sat.
Yeah.
In the when he heard these other noises. when he mentioned it there. So it was that the dictaphone was positioned right at the back of the dark cell.
Right. Okay.
So it eliminated the 4 female investigators that were there. I eliminated everybody else. So whoever was in that cell, I know exactly who was in it. That they made that really deep breath. That's been heard several times around the galleries, in the cells area, in the caves, and in particular in that area.
Yeah.
So it's so clear and creepy, I think, anyway.
That is really clear, really creepy, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And so we'll go to the civil court area of the Galleries of Justice.
Yep.
And I'll just play the original bit of footage to start with. So here we go.
If you're in here with us, could you try and affect one of us again? Try and affect this machine that you did earlier. You did it. Come on.
So that was the original, and this is the isolated, enhanced EVP. Again. It's like someone going, Oh, there we go.
It's not Elvis, is it?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, to get an EVP that said that, eh?
There's any evidence of Elvis visiting, the courts of Nottingham?
Yeah.
I'm sure he did a few private gigs there. Went to a party in a county jail. You asked for that.
We'll bat him up, knock him out, you bat him.
So what are your thoughts on that then, chaps?
Quite an interesting one. Probably not as sinister as the one we just heard in the dark cells, but it seems like it's answering us. Quite a sharp, as if it is actually answering us.
So there's an intelligence there almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're saying intelligent one as well, responding to question and answer.
Yeah. And I've saved the best one till last, and I'm sure Glynn is going to he's going to explain this. I just hope I played the right one.
It is the one that I'm thinking about, isn't it?
Yes. So
yes, it is.
You can tell the backstory after I've played it.
Okay.
I tell
you what, if you play it and then I'll explain it and then play it again, just so people can pick it up.
Yeah. So I hope I've chose the right one. So
yeah, so do I, mate. Yeah, that's the right one.
Okay. And now I'll play the enhanced audio of the EVP capture. So here we go. And I'll play it again. I'll play the enhanced version. And I'll do it one more time because it's very sort of whispery. Yep. So did you all hear that? I know it was probably quite difficult to hear.
If Carl says what he thinks he heard, I can try and say it and then you play it again later on, mate.
Yeah. After you've told the story, yeah.
Can you just play it again once more, please?
Of course. What, the isolated or the full?
The isolated.
Okay, so here we go. Here it is again. And again.
It sounds like a voice saying something about a good boy or something like that.
No, that's not dog. It's a good boy.
It might be the naked one again.
Yeah. Christ, he's popped up a couple of times, hasn't he, tonight? Yeah. Oh, anyway. Yeah. There's one for the bloopers collection. Yeah, basically, mate, what it is we were coming back from investigation towards where the jury room is, the base for a cup of tea and things like that. And we're just walking through, listening to it, and we heard like a little whisper. And we thought, don't know what that says. So I went round to Glenn and we isolated it all. Now, basically, it'll play it again for you in isolation, but we've said it. It's like a whisper saying, "Go on, Deb, have a drink of water," as if somebody's actually going to go on trial and give evidence.
Right.
And that is right next to where the canteen is, where we caught this EVP. But I'm sure it says, "Go on, Deb, have a drink of water," like a Nottinghamshire accent.
Yeah.
Now, and that's right next to where the canteen is as well.
And I remember, there was no one in the team.
No, there was nobody called Deb. No.
Wow. And we just had our, or what you call it. We was nowhere near where we have our drinks and that, because that was upstairs, wasn't it?
No, this was in the main entrance hall.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, in terms of having a drink.
Yeah. But yes, go on, Deb, have a drink of water.
So I'll play that again. I'll play the untreated version, and then I'll play the enhanced version. So here's the full version. You can hear footsteps because we are walking as this was captured. So here we go.
Okay.
And then I'll play it in isolation.
I had the drink of water.
Yeah.
Definitely. That was really, really nice piece, that is.
Yeah. It took some clearing up, I tell you that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Nobody called Deb in our group. So I don't know where that's come from. Or I have a drink of water. Because that definitely sounds a Nottingham accent.
Yeah.
We didn't hear anything at the time, did we? We heard nobody speaking because we was all silent as we were walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good. Really good.
Yeah. Now, for people watching, that will be available this week for you to listen to, and also the photographs. So if you want to have a look at them yourself, have a listen to these EVPs, maybe comment yourselves, then please do so. It'll be interesting to know your thoughts as well. Now, have we got any time for a quick look at any comments that were left, mate? Or
yes, we've got a few. We've got Louise here just saying, there we go. Good evening, guys. So, hello, Louise. Thanks for watching.
Hello, Louise.
Hello.
And we have a Facebook user. I don't know who that is because the software is not allowing us to see who it is. And then we've got Louise again, who's commented about one of the EVPs.
Yeah.
So was it a whistle? I think she meant to say, or a scream. In the courtroom when we was the first one. I think she was responding to that.
Yeah. It's Come on, listen. If you want to have a listen, Louise, make your own mind up. Perhaps comment about it. But that did seem like a whistle.
I'll tell you what. Now her name's up on screen. I'll play it again in its entirety.
Okay.
And the viewers can again make their mind up. So here we go. This is the main courtroom.
That was me moving and them two cracks there. Yeah.
Glynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pen not works.
Pen not work?
No.
Right.
What?
Then I'll play it in isolation. Yeah, it's very subtle, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, still, my gut instinct still says a whistle.
Yeah, it sounds like a toothy whistle,
Um,
like someone would whistle through the front of the teeth.
Yeah. If it's a scream, it's a strange scream, but that's people's opinion. That's great. That's like what these debates for.
Exactly.
But either way, I think it's been great tonight. I think we've had some fantastic stories that we've shared. And thanks, Glenn, for sharing this evidence with us.
Yeah, thank you.
I really do appreciate it.
Not a problem at all.
I think, shall we start? Wrap this show up tonight, mate?
Yes, we've gone over time by about 20 minutes, but I think it's all been in a good cause, hasn't it? It's been quite a special show this evening.
I think we've all enjoyed it, and I say, everybody just keep safe. Yeah, again, we will see you on an investigation in the future. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bye bye for now.
Goodbye.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone. And what I'll do at the end of this broadcast is I'll put some of this evidential footage on the comment section. So by all means, have a look there and decide for yourself. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.